to Eden Town Hall, number 34. Today is Sunday, January 22nd. I'm here with Patrick, Gavriel, and CAC. We've been having some great discussions for about an hour now, and we have prepared a little agenda for you to kind of summarize some of the topics we've been talking about and some exciting news going on in Eden. So first, I'll give a little recap of what's going on with recent Eden Town Halls and our discussions about Haifa with Joe Keane from the Haifa team last week. Then we'll talk about Eden Fractal brainstorming sessions, about the recent Eden Fractal meetings and chief delegate meetings on Eden on EOS. And we'll also talk about Gavriel's initiative that he's working on. You may notice that Gavriel's in a jungle right now. He's building something, if I pronounce it correctly, called Camazotz Finca that we can get into. That's really cool and exciting. And we can also talk about the mission of communities in general, about Eden. We've been having a lot of great discussions, and also about how communities can coordinate and cooperate towards shared goals. So before we jump into the agenda, I'd like to just say hello, everybody, again, and thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Thanks for being here. And how's everybody doing? Is there anything any of you would like to share before we jump into the topics?
This was a surprise meeting for me to introduce what's happening at Camazotz, but I'm looking forward to sharing a few minutes of what's happening out here in the Yucatán jungle. Happy to be with you all.
Sounds great. Thanks so much, Gavriel, too. And thank you for joining. I really appreciate you joining, and it's been great meeting you at all these recent meetings, too. You've been at a bunch and joining, so I really appreciate it, and I'm stoked about what you're doing in the jungle, too, with Camazotz. I've been following it pretty closely and checking out your podcasts and your videos. We'll get into it. Your website's awesome. So I'm really excited to get into that, and thank you so much. Patrick, CAC, you guys have any thoughts before we get into it, or shall we jump into the topics?
Yeah, I'm working on a project myself to change the world to a better place. More details to come.
Wonderful. I'm looking forward to this project, and I'd be happy to collaborate with you as much as we can. So I love making the world a better place. And thank you, CAC, for joining us, and looking forward to hearing more thoughts about that. Pat Novajoy, any thoughts?
Oh yeah, very aligned with you, CAC, and with Gavriel. Very enjoying to see the news about the jungle there where you are living. That seems to be very beautiful. I saw some videos. I have a catch, I think, the ID, but you will explain that better here. And CAC, as always, very artful and willing to change the things and doing something great for the EOS ecosystem. So that's my pleasure to be with you guys, and let's enjoy here the best dog into the galaxy. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Pat. The best Pat in the Novajoy galaxy, if I remember correctly what you said. We were having some fun before, too.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, yeah, I'm thrilled to be here with you too, Patrick, and everybody here. So thanks so much. And I suppose without further ado, we can jump into topics. And of course, feel free to jump into. So I'll share my screen. I have some slides and windows prepared for everybody to share a nice show. But feel free to jump in at any point if you have any thoughts or anything like that. We could play it by ear and keep it pretty casual and have some fun with it. Here is the window that I'll share. So first off, I believe you should be able to see my screen now. You're able to see the welcome screen right now, right, for the Eden Town Hall? Okay, yep. Excellent. So this is a website that I just built 2 days ago. It's edentownhall.com. I started building a website so that we can curate all these great town halls. Lately, we've been doing we started these town halls 8 months ago or 9 months ago, and at first they started as kind of audio calls, and they're really fun and really helpful in many ways, but we've been upping our production game with the videos lately, and also been working on making cool thumbnails, and a lot of great people have been joining and sharing stories. So Joshua reached out to me. He wanted me to make an event on the new Luma page. Actually, I should have brought that up, but there's a new Luma page where there's a calendar of events for Eden, so I'll bring that up later. And I figured it'd be a good time to make an edentownhall.com website. I've been thinking of this for a while, so it's very simple, but you go to edentownhall.com, you can check out the videos, and you can also RSVP on the Luma link as well. So you can find out how to join these every Sunday at 16 UTC. And then there's just a little about section and then a little artwork section. I've been adding Cosmo, the creator, who's a close friend of mine, who's holding a soccer ball, which looks quite like the Eden logo. And I like the playfulness and the focus on games and so forth. So I put this together and this will be coming together more, but here's it is as it is. And there's links to Eden Fractal and Eden Elections and the Genesis UI and EOS Network and EOS Support. I can add links to Nova Crypto and all the other great things that we're doing here soon, but I just figured I'd show you this website here in the first place. And then I'll also show you, well, here's the Luma event. If you want to join here, you can register and you can get email notifications every week. So thank you, Joshua, for setting this up. And then from last week, you could check out our discussion with Joachim from the Haifa team. He shared an awesome presentation for about a half hour going into all the details about Haifa and Eden integration. I made a cool looking thumbnail, if I say so myself. And then I also put together some thumbnails here, or rather timestamps here. There's a great presentation and Google Documents and so forth that Joachim and the Haifa team have been curating all their work together. I'm also working on putting together an article at edencreators.com/Haifa and maybe some show notes for this on a Eden Town Hall site. But here it is for now. It's public and more details will be coming soon about that. And also, of course, you can check out the great interview that Lovejoy and Zach did last week that we referred to it too for more details about the Haifa integration. Really exciting what's going on with the Haifa integration. And I'm really excited that Joachim joined and shared all that great information with us, as well as you, Patrick, and Joshua Seymour, another chief delegate who works closely with Gavriel. They've known each other for a long time and they're doing great work. So many people who ask great questions. So I'm really thankful to that. And then also in general too, you can check out the Eden Town Halls playlist where you can check out all the recent ones where we had discussions with Chris Barnes and Reiki and so many amazing community members going on here. So you can explore those and check out our most recent town halls. So that is the first topic about town halls and about the Haifa. I just want to give you a brief update about that. And the next topic that we have to share today is about brainstorming. So perhaps Patrick can give us a more overview of this. First, I'll just say I'm building a website or building a web page rather at edencreators.com/brainstorming to summarize all the great things we've been doing at Eden Fractal brainstorming sessions. We've had 4 of them so far. So on this page, still an early work in progress, but I'm starting to just curate exactly what these brainstorming sessions are, or try to just help people understand what they are if people aren't familiar, and provide a little bit of the context about how these are helpful and so forth. And then we had some topics that we started to discuss last week and we discussed more. And then also I'm starting to curate below the past one so everybody can check out the videos and the tweets and everything and so forth. Now I suppose, pass on to Patrick if Patrick's ready. I also have Patrick's tweet here. If you'd like to share anything, Patrick, then I can keep on sharing the screen. And as you speak, then I can go and keep sharing the screen and go through different pages. Or if you'd like to do it in any way, then please let me know. Patrick, what do you think?
Absolutely, yeah. I can give some explanation, overview of what we are doing with those brainstorming session. So as you see into this tweet, we can stay on this tweet. We are evolving to something more organized during the brainstorming session. It's a 1 hour brainstorming session, and we try to be focused on 3 phases. The first phase is about the clarification phase, where the proposer is basically explaining the why, the what of his proposal, so the intent of his proposal, without to go too much into the how, so more into the why and the what. Then we have the reaction phase, where the people participating into the brainstorming session can ask questions, or first make some reaction and also some questioning to the proposal's proposer. And then we have the third phase, where we try to see if there is any objection to pass this proposal, if it is harmful for the Eden Fractal, or if it is not. So the Eden Fractal brainstorming session, that's a complement to the Eden Fractal meeting that occurs on the Wednesday at 16 UTC every week. The brainstorming session are occurring every 2 weeks on the Tuesday at 16 UTC. And the goal is to dive into the complex proposals that we have, because we classify proposals into 3 categories. We have the immediate proposal, where normally that don't take too much power brainstorming power to decide. It's just a yes, we want to discuss about this proposal, or a no, we don't want to discuss about this proposal. So it's an immediate. For example, the MSIG one was an immediate proposal into the Eden Fractal meeting of 27 episode, where we made an immediate proposal to basically say at a super majority, yes, we want to update the MSIG. And on the brainstorming session, the last one, we were discussing now more in detail how we will try to implement that, how we want to, the criteria to take into account. And that was a surprise. Vlad, the proposal's proposer, was arriving to conclusion with also us into the brainstorming session, that he has to reconsider his proposal and rephrase his proposal, basically redo a new proposal about this topic, MSIG. And that's where we were discussing. So I encourage the people to join, because that's very helpful. And we are very well organized. We are always more well organized. And that's just a 1 hour call. And then there is a swarm with Jesse Jaffe of the Bees to make some outreach marketing to promote about this event.
Excellent. Thank you so much for the great summary, Patrick. And thank you so much once again for hosting and organizing these. It's been a pleasure to co-host these. So thank you for inviting me and everybody in the Eden Fractal community to participate. I also very much encourage everybody to join these every Tuesday at 16 UTC, or every other Tuesday at 16 UTC, I should say. They're super helpful. And yeah, they've been incredibly helpful for our work with agendas and Valendas and the moderation guidelines and the MSIG proposal now too. So thank you so much, and recommend everybody check it out. Well, another thing I'll mention here too that you reminded me of, since you're talking about the clarification and reaction and objection rounds too. So Gavriel actually introduced us to this a couple weeks ago during Eden Fractal meeting number 31, actually, and you can check it out at edenfractal.com/31, where we discussed this. Gavriel proposed this, and we approved it. And for the past weeks, we've also been using this sociocratic method to better discuss proposals and to better come to consensus in a more efficient way. So I curated this at edenfractal.com/31 once again, and you can check out the timestamps, you can check out the proposals and so forth. Really cool stuff. So thanks so much to Gavriel here. You can also see his original proposal. I'd be interested to hear from Gavriel if he has any thoughts about this and how we're using it in the Eden Fractal brainstorming sessions. He also shared a link to holacracy.org and governance meetings, which has a lot more details about this as well. So it's a really cool process that's making us more efficient in both the brainstorming sessions and in the fractal meetings. And I'm excited to further explore how we can use these sociocratic and holacratic guidelines and so forth. Patrick or Gavriel or CC, do you have any thoughts about this?
Yeah, just little note, shout out to Gavriel and Eden Fractal, indeed, meetings. That was raised during the holidays between Christmas and the New Year, and I was in holiday, and I was seeing your meeting, and I was seeing the proposal of Gavriel to make the meetings a little bit more oriented with those 4 phases. There is also the implementation phases. After the objection phases, there is 4 phases. And I was thinking, wow, basically, we are trying to do that a little bit into Eden Fractal brainstorming session. I was messaging Gavriel, and he was stating me, oh yeah, you are doing that really there? And I was answering, yeah, we try. We want to go more to that. And now we are doing a little bit that, and that's thanks to Gavriel mentioning that, because sociocracy is very helpful. And yeah, I just want to make a shout out to Gavriel. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, big shout out to Gavriel. Thank you so much. And also shout out to Joshua too, who's been sharing some great resources about consent decision-making and sociocracy as well. So check those out. I suppose we can move on to the next topic now, unless maybe Gavriel wants to share any thoughts about this. I know that he's also having some issues with getting power in the jungle and so forth too. So I suppose we can also be pretty quick and expedient here, because we've been on the meeting for already an hour, and I want to respect everybody's time. So I suppose if there's no further comments on the brainstorming sessions, then I'll just say once again, thank you, Patrick, and thank you everybody for participating in that. Thank you, Vlad and Tadas and CAC for participating in that as well and sharing great ideas. Looking forward to the next one coming up next week. And thank you, Gavriel, once again for helping us out with the sociocratic guidelines. And now I see Gavriel just joined again too. So I guess he's having a little power issue, something like that. But welcome back, Gavriel. Can you hear us?
Hi, folks. Yeah, I can hear you. I'm good.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. I don't know if you heard, but we were just talking about the sociocratic method that you propose and how we're now using that in the Eden Fractal brainstorming sessions and also in the Eden Fractal. We kind of summarized that meeting a couple weeks ago when you introduced it, and we thanked you for introducing us to these sociocratic methods because they're really helpful, and I'm excited to explore them more and try them out more.
Yeah, I'll make a quick comment on that. I think the origin of Eden itself via Dan Larimer and his book is and was a fundamental and perfect foundation for developing a decentralized governance community. The problem has been in the industry in general is like the analogy that if all you have is a hammer, then everything looks like a nail, right? And so the community developed these automated protocols where you could use tokens to vote on things. And then that's how we started to think about governance. We think governance is when you use a token to vote and something happens. But there's a massive history about decentralized governance that comes way before blockchain. And sociocratic is one name for it. And they also call it dynamic governance. And it evolved, I think, in the Netherlands originally and in parts of Europe. And all over, there's African tribes and Indian Mayan cultures, Red Indian. They've got different ways of distributing decision making that we've got to be able to tap into. And I heard Patrick's comment that you were kind of using these kind of categories, and so I think it's just a case of refreshing our memories, our collective memories. That there's a lot of good intelligence that we should be tapping into that maybe the blockchain community in general hasn't been doing properly to date. So we're reconnecting with some of those ideas and then bringing that into the sophistication that we have through automation and on-chain transactions, etc., etc. So little comment there.
Very powerful sociocracy, also holacracy for the circles, but we are now at sociocracy focus this last weeks seems to be, and that helps a lot to moderate us ourselves and to be very focused and don't waste our time. That's very powerful, this clarification phase. Then the second one, what is? I have missed.
Yeah, so the phase is the clarification, and then it's the reaction, right?
Reaction, then objections, and maybe implementation. But we have made the 3-1 until objection when we are speaking about proposal, and implementation will be more when we have to speak about the setup, how we want to set up really the proposal. But yeah, we are following that, and very powerful again. Thank you.
Yep, I completely agree. And I'm stoked to be exploring these more. And I agree with what Gavriel was saying too about how different cultures, civilizations, or different groups of people have explored a lot of these before. So there's a huge amount of wisdom that we can learn from what people have done in the past. And then also it's great. There's people who are very involved with holacracy, like especially the Haifa team and sociocracy. They bring a lot of the wisdom to the Eden community and blockchain and EOS communities that we weren't familiar with so much before. So it's really cool to see this merging, and then we can pick out the best parts of all the different things that we learn, and we can learn to cooperate much better. And then we can also, write it down and help make protocols and so forth for other communities to cooperate with these same methods as well to help everybody cooperate better. So that's awesome. And yeah, thanks so much, Gavriel and Patrick, for the thoughts. Cool. So on to the next topic now. I think that was a great discussion about the brainstorming sessions and about the sociocratic methods. The next topic that we'll discuss, I think you should be able to see my screen again on Eden Fractal 31. Well, just a quick brief summary and a segue, perhaps. First off, once again, you could check out the full discussion that we had about these methods when we were first learning about them, and Gavriel was first sharing the proposal with us in edenfractal.com/31. We spoke about it for an hour. So if you want to learn more about it, as well as see show notes where you can find links to learn more about sociocratic method, then you can learn there. And also following up on what Patrick was saying about the most recent brainstorming session in Eden Fractal 32. So that was a week and a half ago. We discussed the MSIG, and that kind of led to many discussions that we had at the brainstorming session too, and what we'll discuss in, I think, this upcoming week. So, and then there was also a lot of other great updates too, like Vlad and Tadas released new app updates that are really cool and exciting. Patrick funded Eden Builders. He funded the Eden Fractal community as a whole with 2,000 more EOS, and also funded Vlad and Das. He's funding them with 3,000 EOS for building awesome tools with Eden and Eden Fractal. So thank you so much, Patrick. That's incredibly helpful. I'm actually working on a message to thank you for that specifically, because it's incredibly helpful how you've been helping to fund the Eden community, and also collaborating with the brainstorming sessions and the Antelope Workshops, which we'll get to, and being here in the town halls and the Mindweb, mind maps, and everything. So thank you so much, Patrick. Really appreciate that. Also, shout out to Eric, who recently launched an art fractal, and Perry, who recently proposed integration with DNews, which I'll talk about a bit more about these things in the future. But yeah, you can check out the show notes here and check out the cool new app that Vlad and Tadas are building, and all sorts of stuff like that. But yeah, just wanted to provide a quick summary there. If anybody has any comments about any of this, then of course, feel free to jump in. I don't know if Patrick, you want to respond or anything like that. But if not, then I'll continue on to the most recent update, and I'll go quickly as well. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I just want to respond quickly about my contribution for the Eden Fractal. If you can say, I don't like the word financial, but let's say I try to, my intent is to give some funds to the MSIG Eden Fractal, so the MSIG, in order that the people are rewarded when they are joining the Eden Fractal. That's very important, that the people are rewarded, and that they are rewarded quick after the Eden Fractal. Let's say that's on the Wednesday, so at the end of the week, maximum Sunday, we have the people rewarded. And that's why I give some funds to this Eden Fractal MSIG. And sometimes I am giving also some funds directly to Eden Fractal members, because they have a cool project that I am feeling very attracted, and I want also at the same time collaborating with them. It's all about adding a collaborative culture around EOS. That's very important. And that's what I want to do personally. That's my own belief, that we have to add value by collaborating, not just by giving money, but collaboration is the key. And that sounds maybe sometimes little boat word, collaboration, like gamification. Sometimes we don't understand why we say gamification, but when we are able to say behind this word, what does it mean exactly? The words have a good sense. So collaboration, when it is explained, what does it mean really? Because for someone else, that could be something else. So for me, collaboration it's when you can add a value to an ecosystem and letting grow and collaborate with the people. So that's why I do that. And I'm very happy to continue to do so. I will do that every time that I can. So very happy to contribute in this way into the Eden Fractal community, and also in other community, just to make clear.
Thank you so much, Patrick. It's so very much appreciated and so profoundly helpful. I can't really describe it or express it, but I think what we're doing here is incredibly helpful and important for empowering all communities, and you've played a tremendously helpful role in that so far and continue to each and every day. So thank you so much, and I'm thrilled to be collaborating with you in all these different ways, Patrick, as well as Gavriel and CAC and everybody else in the community. But yeah, thank you, Patrick, and thanks everyone. Okay, cool. Well, thank you also for sharing your thoughts there too. I really appreciate that. And I'll get back to the slides as well too. So the next topic that I'll briefly introduce here is the last week's Eden Fractal meeting. So this is the 33rd Eden Fractal meeting. There's quite a few. There was like 19 people who joined. So it's great to see so many great builders. All four of us here on this call today were there, as well as a bunch of other people doing amazing work. I'm working on getting the timestamps out and publishing this with a nice thumbnail and everything like that. but that'll be coming out in the next couple of days. And in the meantime, I'll just provide a brief summary. We played a great game of Eden plus Fractal, and everybody got respect and so forth. And then one of the main topics that we discussed in the time after the breakout room was a proposal that Perry made to help Eden Fractal and DNews collaborate, where Eden Fractal could help make some editorial decisions or editorial guidance for the DNews proposal. I won't get into it too much. There was lots of discussion in both the Eden Fractal chat and also in the meeting that we had. So you can check out this when timestamps in the show notes come out at edenfractal.com/33. You can check out Perry's original proposal here, and you can also join the Eden Fractal Telegram group at t.me/edenfractal to see all the discussions. Also, I'll give you a brief overview of the dnews.zone website. It's a aggregator that aggregates a lot of news from the EOSIO and Antelope space, and also Fractally. Lately, Perry got elected as delegate in Eden on EOS, and he's been attending all the Eden Fractal meetings and sharing a lot of great insights. So you can check out here. He has quite a nice website, and you can explore and search for all the different kinds of news going on. And for example, he has the Eden Fractal search, where you can see hundreds and hundreds of videos that we've done and related to both the Eden Fractal and town halls, and Patrick's interviews with Nathan James for the Eden on EOS elections. And it goes way back to, you can see like my interview with Tadas and articles about it in the EOS Network Foundation articles and so forth. So there's lots of cool stuff. Patrick made amazing videos here. Tadas interviews with Jesse and so forth. So it's a really cool resource to check out a lot of the stuff that we've been working on with Eden Fractal, and looking forward to exploring some collaborations, although there's also some really great feedback too that maybe the proposal isn't quite how it should be. So we'll discuss it more. You can also check out their calendar on DNews too, where you can check out the Eden on EOS town hall meeting that we're at right now, the Haifa DAO activation series that Joshua has been hosting, the Spanish-speaking Fractal meetings that Jorge's been hosting, the Eden Fractal meetings, fireside chats, Alien Worlds community Fractal meetings hosted by Dwayne, the giveaway show hosted by Charles, Hot Sauce, by Stefan, Helios, Twitter Spaces. So many great meetings, and this is a cool calendar. So big thanks to Perry for setting this up. And then also, while we're talking about calendars too, this is the Luma calendar that Joshua set up. I have to sign in, so I wasn't able to sign in right now, but you could see all the meetings that Joshua is hosting over here. And he just hosted the first Haifa meeting as well. And he's going to be doing this every, I think, Monday and Tuesday at 16 UTC. So I encourage everybody to check this out, and looking forward to discuss these proposals more from Perry. And very much looking forward to the next Eden Fractal meeting as well. I just want to give a brief summary there. Does anybody have any comments you'd like to share, or shall we move on to the next topic, which is about the upcoming videos from both Patrick's Antelope Workshop series coming up pretty soon, I believe, and then also the recent Chief Delegate meetings. Any thoughts, or shall we proceed? I think we can proceed probably. Patrick, are you ready to share with us some of your thoughts about the Antelope Workshop series?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Maybe do you want to share the poster about those interviews coming? Yeah,
Here
nice.
we go. Beautiful poster, by the way. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I try to do my best. I am not a graphist, and I will not do some subcontracting for graphists. So for the moment, I do on my own. That's what it is. But I think it's enough for the moment. So it's
awesome.
all about to see if there is traction with those workshops, and seems to be that there are some traction that's going well. So that's the 18-1 workshop that was named before EOSIO, Swiss workshops. Since October, that was rebranded EOSIO into Antelope and Leap protocol. So that's why I have changed myself also for Antelope Swiss Workshop by Nova Crypto and the Antelope platform. You see the Antelope here, our beautiful Antelope. And I have the chance for this fourth season, because that's the fourth season I begin now. I have a different guest on this one. And there is no real order, because those video you can see into the YouTube Nova Crypto channel. That's every time published at 15:30 UTC, every 23rd, every 2 months. Indeed, I do that every 2 months, to finish at the 9 December to totalize 6 workshops per season. So for this season, 6 workshops. I will do all my best to be committed as always. So here, if you can go back to the poster, yeah. So I will begin with Pomelo, Daniel Keys. So we do basically a recap of Pomelo season 4. There will be just after the 23rd, 1 week after, the unveiled of the analysis report by the Pomelo team of Pomelo season 4. You know, about quid pro quo, or maybe about some, let's say, arrangement behind the scene. So now Pomelo team is working with other people like EOS support to see if there are some, let's say, wired behaviors. So they are working with other people to analyze the Pomelo grant. And we have also addressed the Pomelo season 5 coming. That will be on March, something like this. And we have addressing what will be new for Pomelo season 5. We have also discussed about the bounty system, that has nothing really to do with Pomelo itself, but the entry point will be through Pomelo. You will see the bounties classified like the grants and the collections. So then we have then we have EOS Jesse Jaffe. That's the update number 4 already for the bees. I had before that other interview with Dan Sinjoy of Jesse Jaffe and myself alone sometimes. But this time it's all about the situation of the Twitter situation since that Elon Musk has bought Twitter, how that benefits the EOS bees and how that benefits EOS in general to have Twitter now bought by Elon Musk. Also about the swarms, how it is going with the EOS bee swarms technology. We have made some showcasing of the Mindmap plus cockpit for the bees. We have a cockpit now to analyze the metrics of the campaign, and also a tool that I have showcased with Jesse, that I have developed with a Hyperion history solution to find transactions that have participated into DeFi box to make a liquidity pool USDT. So we have created a tool together, Jesse and myself, for the bees, but that could be useful for the other. Dan, can you stay on the poster and?
Sure. Sorry, I was trying to get too creative, I guess, with all different windows, but I'll stay in one spot if you prefer.
Yeah, thank you very much. And then we have Zaisan, Red Order Pool, where we discuss the result of the trade shows of September, October, November, December last year. That's the first part of the video. That's a presentation of Red, a nice presentation, you will love it. And the second part is all about GDPR, global data protection. We hear a lot about GDPR and we don't know what it is. A lot of people are not knowing really what does it mean to be GDPR compliant. There is a lot of FOMO behind this word, a lot of articles, and you need some practice to be able to say what is. You have to experience with that. So Red is based in Amsterdam. He's the CEO of blog producer EOS Amsterdam, Europe chain, and also now of Zaisan Global. So he knows what does it mean to be GDPR compliant, and he's sharing the why, the what, and the how of the GDPR, and how Antelope and the blockchain can help to be GDPR compliant. So there is all the benefit to be on chain when you want to be GDPR compliant. So that's what we address there. And then we have a nice Eden Fractal update number 4 with my fellow Dan Sinjoy and co-host on this one. That's our 4th Eden Fractal update. And we have Tadas and Vlad on this one. We made in the past with Vlad. We made in the past with Tadas, and we decided for this one to do again, but with Vlad also. And we share nice topics during this Eden Fractal update number 4. The state of the Eden Fractal, how it is going, For example, with the sociocracy and these ideas that Gavriel has give to us. Thank you very much for that. We have also addressed new ideas about the MSIG, about the proxy. We have a new idea about the proxy. We have also raised ideas about to reward the proposal's proposer when a proposal is passed. That makes sense. So we have addressed different topics into this one. That was a great one. So basically, that's published tomorrow, January 23rd at 15:30 UTC on the Nova Crypto YouTube channel in published mode. There is an article on By Wire, an article with the video embedded into the article with a little breakdown for each videos and a little summary of all this workshop. The tagline of this workshop, it's all about privacy, protection, and let the user be the decider when he uses something. The user decides and not the inverse, always the power in the hand of the user. So that's what we addressed during this one. The last one, the 17th one, was full spectrum, Web3 full spectrum. This one is more oriented about protection, privacy. That's what we want to have into our ecosystem for EOSBs, for Eden Fractal, for EOS support, for Eden on EOS, for every EOS digital extended network. That's the trend for 2023 and beyond. It's to have EOS digital extended network. And extended why? Because there is the human aspect on top of the network. So before to add the human on top of the network, have good process on the bottom, good protocols. That's what we do into Eden Fractal. That's what we do into Eden on EOS, now term 5 and going on. It's to have the maximum information on chain. That's the proof of our intent to have the things on chain and to be able to prove what we have stated, like a radio station. So very important. So that's the tagline. That's the 18th one, January 23rd. And this is published also into Discord, into Telegram. So you will not miss this workshop. And there will be a tweet swarmed by EOSBs. As always, I do a swarm because I believe into this Twitter system of swarm. And yeah, that's that. So enjoy this one.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Patrick. And yes, everybody enjoy, as I was shown before, you can check these out when they come out shortly on the Nova Crypto channel, as well as the playlist of all the previous ones. There's 114 videos in the previous Antelope Swiss workshop. So thanks again so much, Patrick. These videos are incredibly helpful, and I really appreciate them and encourage everybody to check out both the new ones and check out the older ones if you haven't seen them as well. It was a pleasure doing the Eden Fractal update interview with you and Tadas and Vlad this time, and also past times. And I'm really looking forward to the new interviews with Jesse, Daniel, and Rhett as well, because they're all doing amazing work. And I'm sure that you have lots of great updates in these Antelope Workshop series. So thanks so much, Patrick, for the overview.
Just to mention, the video are not on IPFS. That's an idea that I have also, that this video could be the further one be on IPFS. But we have a precedent now with Eden on EOS for the chief delegate meeting, but maybe you will come on that later on into this Eden on all.
Yes, actually, you kind of read my mind a little bit, because that's related to the next topic. I mean, first off, I'd be interested if Gavriel or CAC have any questions or comments about any of the stuff that Patrick shared here, or any other thoughts that we have going forward. I see Gavriel's moving around. I don't know if you have any thoughts you'd like to share. If not, then I can move on to the next topic.
Just to say, I think the degree of organization that it looks like is happening is, to me, is really fantastic. It gives so much depth of detail. There's so many rabbit holes for people to go through, and I think this is what helps for people to find where they want to contribute, is by having this clarity of available options, different things going on, different events, different projects. And I think it's really, really building a strong foundation. We have the analogy of when you're building a skyscraper, you don't just put up the skyscraper. you take months to build the foundations, and it doesn't really look on the surface. It doesn't look to people passing by the construction site that anything's going on. There's no building, but it's building the depth of foundation that is so important, because then suddenly the skyrise shoots up into the sky. So I think that's really what's happening, and it's amazing to see Patrick so diligent. I love mind mapping. It's amazing to see that progress with mind maps and how these pieces of the puzzle all start to fit together.
Thank you, Gavriel. Means a lot for you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Gavriel. And I agree too that that's kind of related to another topic that I think we'll get into a little bit about how communities can coordinate to accomplish shared goals and stuff. We talked about a little bit before. And yeah, I think that work that Patrick's doing with these workshops, as well as all the other great stuff that we're talking about and what we're doing here at the town hall, we're all combining these. Patrick's organizing it on the mind map, trying to organize it on the Eden Creator site, and people are doing great work organizing it. So I agree, we're building the foundations for lots of beautiful interactions and communities to grow, and I'm really excited about it. So thank you for sharing that. Those thoughts is very inspiring, Gavriel.
There is a question of CIC. When is that bounty thing coming out? They were talking about on one of the recent fireside chat. Yeah, exactly. We touched on that during the video with Daniel. As always, the dates, we don't unveil any dates because we know that the dates can change. But the bounty is not really for Pomelo season 5. It's more for after. And the developer of Pomelo, EOS Nation, or let's say the developer that are into Pomelo now, they are doing automation of tasks, because a lot of tasks are made manually, and they have to create some robot, so automation, before that we can really go with this bounty. And the bounty have to be issued into GitHub. If someone has a bounty, he has to create the proposal of his bounty into GitHub. Why? Because that's incentivize the proposer, the bounty's proposer, to create a very good proposal, because if it is in GitHub, generally speaking, the people that are working with GitHub, they knows how to structurate the things. And also it's to then let the people communicate between them through GitHub, not through Pomelo, but through GitHub. And Pomelo stay just as a, don't take wrong, but stay just like a portal to classify the bounties, like the collections, like the grant owner. But the communication goes into GitHub between the bounty proposer and the guy that will do the work. So that's something that has not really to be connected with Pomelo, but the entry point to go into the bounties is the portal of the Pomelo portal. But we were scratching the surface, to be honest, and more explaining the big picture of the coming seasons going on. So, but that was a nice talk with Daniel, as always. Very shout out to Daniel. That's very pleasant to speak with him, share the talk, and indeed every of my guests. Shout out to you, Dan Sinjoy also. That was very pleasant to share the Eden Fractal update number 4. Okay, so let's move on.
Absolutely, I agree. Thank you, Patrick. It was a pleasure as well for me. Big pleasure. And I also want to say thank you, CAC, for the question. Thanks, Patrick, for the thoughtful and great response. Also, on the January 11th, a week and a half ago, fireside chat, in addition to the upcoming interview, Daniel Keys and the Pomelo team went into more details about that too. I actually listened to that twice because I was quite interested in that feature. So I think it's coming out soon, and looking forward to checking out the new interview with Daniel Keys. And big shout out to the whole Pomelo team. The whole Pomelo team is doing amazing work. So speaking about amazing work, right? We'll talk about the Eden Chief Delegates. Patrick is now a Chief Delegate as of a few weeks ago, as well as Joshua Seymour and Nathan James and Joe from EOS Asia. So I'll give a brief overview of what's been going on with the recent meetings. I mean, first off, the Eden community has been very engaged in very vibrant discussions, and been very active, engaged in the new Eden Telegram group with topics. That's really cool to see. And now for the past 2 terms, for the past 2 seasons. The chief delegates have also been posting videos on the Eden Elections YouTube channel over here, so you can check that out and subscribe to see all of these. You can see all the term 4 weekly meetings, or the weekly meetings from all the chief delegates in term 4, as well as past live streams and videos. And you can also go to the playlist here to see term 5 chief delegate weekly meetings. At some point, I think it would be great to combine these channels too, because there's the Eden on EOS channel that has the term 1 and I think term 2, and then in term 3, where I was a chief delegate, we have those on Odyssey. So it'd be great to combine these, but you can check out the first 2 meetings here, as well as the live streams that are going on in Telegram now, where you can listen to these and engage with the chief delegates. That's really cool. Thanks, Patrick, for organizing those. And then also I'll make a note about the IPFS as well, which is really cool too. But I saw, Patrick, you were raising your hand at something, or something you wanted to add there?
Yeah, because during that you were stating that we have to maybe merge the things into one thing. I just have to remind the people that there is an Eden dashboard mind map that was birthed at the beginning of Eden. The first Eden election, the Eden dashboard mind map was birthed, and there is mapped out every CD interview, because I do the chief delegate interviews. By the way, there is Joshua Seymour interview coming on this Thursday. I am interviewing Joshua, and on the 24th and on the 25th, normally you should see the video of the CD Joshua coming, and where will be all those video mapped out into the Eden dashboard mind map, Mindweb Eden dashboard mind map, and I have there all the links mapped out. So the information stay where the information is. The mind map is just here to collect those links and doing links to, for example, to Eden Fractal. Like this, we have like a fractal of mind maps. You can navigate from a mind map to another mind map to another mind map. That's make a good experience of diving into the information, into the data, the information, and into the knowledge, because we turn data and information into knowledge. So if you want to go directly on the YouTube channel here, welcome. If you want to go into a mind map and click directly the links, welcome. Indeed, you can enter in the information from where you want. That's you as a user, that's decide. So just to make the remark about what you stated, Dan, about there are a lot of channels currently. We have had made some lot of iteration onto this Eden adventure. We have change of channel, we have change of Twitter account, we have change of different things. So the mind map can help. I think you have a link of the Eden dashboard mind map.
Yeah, thanks, Patrick. That's a great point. And as I've said many times before, I really, really appreciate those. Those are great resources that brings it together. I was just trying to find the link and I wasn't able to bring it up. I was trying to bring it up. So if you want to share it in the chat, then I could share it quickly. At some point, I do think it would be helpful. Maybe if you could like do a URL redirect there. So it's a simple thing to remember. Like I was able to find an example. I was looking through my history and I found the great mind map you did for Pamela, which is really cool, but obviously that's a little bit off topic for what we're talking about here. So if you want to share a link, then I can show it. And at some point, if there's an easier way to find that, because right now the only way that I know how to find that is just going into my history. I'm not exactly sure where the best way to find it otherwise.
The best way to find them is to go on mindweb.io.
Okay. Let me
website.
Let me check it out right now.
Mindweb.io.
And then where do I go from here to get to the Eden?
You go into EOS Digest.
Okay.
And here you have all the mind map that I curate and that I have rendered public. The only one that I have not really rendered public into this page for the moment, it's exactly the Eden dashboard mind map.
There we go.
Yeah, but you see the mind map with the high, if you go a little bit up.
Yes.
Yeah, this mind map with the high into the middle. That's the EOS Digest one. That's the entry point into all the other mind maps. So if you go into this mind map with the high, then you can go through other mind map from this one. So, but I will give you the link to the Eden dashboard mind map for sure.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks, Patrick. And yeah, thanks for sharing that too. I wasn't familiar with exactly how to find that. I would recommend at some point if you can make these a little bit more easy to find for people, because I'm very into this ecosystem. We talk all the time, and it's difficult for me to find. So if you can make it easier to find in the future, that'd be much appreciated.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, when you send that link, then I'm looking forward to seeing that. You can also check out the mind map here. And once again, these mind maps are really cool. You can explore and zoom in and go click on and expand all of them and so forth. So you can check that at mindweb.io. And then I suppose once Patrick shares that link, I'll look at it in the chat so I can bring it up. I saw CAC going to run out of RAM with all his tabs open. Aha, I do have a lot of RAM. That happened to me once in the past, but I'm carefully managing my RAM and I have many gigs left open. So thank you, CAC, and I'm prepared on that front right now. And I suppose too, there's other comments in the chat that I didn't see here before. I see CAC said any updates on Fractally. That was kind of a while ago, but I did have a meeting with the Fractally team a couple weeks ago, or I guess it was a month ago now, and they're working on Sybase and lots of cool developments. I recommend checking out their Sybase developer chat and the Fractally chat. I don't know too much, but I think they're building really cool stuff, as well as the Bywire interview that came out with Dan Lammer recently. But I suppose moving on to what we were talking about before, the chief delegate meetings, in addition to the mind map, which we'll get up here soon, in addition to the YouTube channel, there's also on IPFS now too. So Javier and Edgar and the Dania team, I believe they run infrastructure for IPFS to work with Pinata and so forth. If anybody's not familiar with IPFS, you can check out ipfs.tech. IPFS is standing for Interplanetary File System. It's a way to back up files and make them way more redundant and easy to share and so forth. So it's really great to see that previously the Eden election videos were on there. If you go to the genesis.eden.eoscommunity.com site or .org site, also a long URL, but now, in addition to the election videos, now there's also the chief delegate meetings as well. So that's really cool. Great to see redundancy. At some point, we'll also get those for Eden Fractal and these town halls and all sorts of meetings, because not a great situation to be reliant and dependent on a big corporation like YouTube and just hope that they don't get in the way of things. It's better to have it backed up on many sources so we can maintain independence and grow independence for everybody. I just got the link from Patrick for Mindweb too, so that's loading right now. And so this is the Mindweb where you can see curated in many different places, the Eden on EOS dashboard, or rather curating from many different places. And you can see the elections that he had with the term 4 chief delegates and the information about the ESPX and the Eden story and the earlier chief delegates from earlier seasons, from the season 1 with Aaron and Chris, and all these great things. You can expand and explore that. We've gone through this in previous town halls as well, so I recommend checking out previous town halls, and we won't get into it too deep here, but just a high-level overview. I don't know if you want to share any quick comments about that, Patrick, before we move on to the next topic.
Absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely.
Cool.
So if you go back into the mind map, so the right brain of the mind map has always be to be actual. So where you see now the term 4 videos, the term 4 videos will go on the left into a memory of the left brain, into a memory archived. And onto this right brain here will come the current CD interviews of Nathan James, myself, Joshua, Joseph. We will see if I have the chance to interview him. So you will see the new video here on the right, and you will see also the IPFS. I have put you into the chat here, the IPFS link to the meetings. So into the mind map here, we will have the links to the IPFS meetings, and you will have also the links to the YouTube meetings. Like this, you can compare and see if there is no discrepancy between the between the YouTube and the IPFS. The IPFS is exactly the recording that we have made on Telegram, so there is no chance that we can disturb the information or, let's say, change the information. But into the YouTube video, it's clear because there is an editor, me, by the way, that I'm doing the editing. I could, if I want, but I don't do that for sure, change a little bit, or let's make better that it appears the video, and the people that were not live during this day into the Telegram cannot know. And also maybe the people that were live, because there is the Rashomon effect. And by the way, we want to reduce the Rashomon effect. That's the subjective true. And we want to have the most that we can an objective true. But objective true is not possible totally. So we have to reduce the Rashomon effect. And sociocracy, Rashomon effect, and all those beautiful things that we have are fantastic for the blockchain. I'm totally agreeing with Gavriel. We have to import those paradigm into the blockchain. But another story. So those mind maps are managed like this. The right brain of the mind map is the current things. The left brain, the left part of the mind map is the meta information, the past. Let's say the meta information. And if you click into the middle of the screen about election process, you arrive directly on the beautiful video that is explaining what does it mean to have an upvote election process into this nightmare of this world that we are experiencing, and what it is needed to have something democratical, fractal. So without to speak about the book of More Equal Animal of Daniel Larimer, just think about what we are experiencing into the current world and how maybe we can do better things into the decentralized world. But we can speak here for 5 hours, I think, if we speak on that.
Yeah.
But the mind map is here to collect information, to explore, analyze, and turn information into insights. That's the goal of Mindweb. It's not to become the, let's say, the center of all and something, let's say, the new place to go into the information. You can choose, you can go there, or you can go directly where are the source. I am just collecting and making links, and then the user make his choice. But I think mind mapping is very powerful for what we are doing into the blockchain space in general.
I completely agree. Thank you, Patrick. It's a very, very helpful resource. It organizes it very well. So recommend everybody check those out. And you've curated so much great content there, and it's a great way to organize it. And I see you also have music on here too, and I know you're making updates and building the product out too. So really appreciate it, Patrick. And then also what you were saying before too, I don't know if anybody has any comments on that. Gavriel or CAC, feel free to jump in if you have any comments. Something that Patrick shared before kind of provides a good transition into what we're doing here. Well, first off, I want to give a shout out also to Waxa and Chris for making the great video about the upvote election process. They also made EdenElections.com where you can learn more as well. But yeah, Patrick was talking about, you said a term like the nightmare of the current world. And I wanted to comment on that a little bit because there is a lot of really bad things in the world and a lot of big problems. And what we're doing here with Eden can solve a lot of those. And also there's a lot of beauty in the world and a lot of amazing things too. So as there's fire going on the screen, so maybe I'll pause this video for a second. CAC or Gavriel, do you have any comments to share here before I move on? The next topic that I was going to go into was talking a little bit about the mission of Eden and also talking about the Camazotz Collective or Camazotz Collective. Okay, I think it's a good time to move on then. Yeah, so that provides a transition I think we can work with. So talking about what we're doing here and fixing the world's problems in many ways, and also helping the world and helping people cooperate. So many useful things that we're doing here. A note that I want to make, I'm building a website here, or I'm building a page rather, edencreators.com/mission. It's still early in development, but it's been inspired by what we've been discussing at recent Eden Fractal meetings and in the Eden community in general. So in week 29, right after we got the agendas game set up and passed our moderation guidelines and so forth, the first topic that we discussed was, what is the mission of Eden Fractal? That was proposed by Vlad, and we had a great discussion about this that you can look at on edenfractal.com/29 to see the show notes. There'll also be more added here too. I'm kind of just starting and learning how to use these as well, but you can check out the timestamps and so forth. And the next week, we also discussed a proposed mission. And for the past few weeks now, we've been discussing different missions. Gavriel also shared a mission related to fractal democracy too. One of these was about fostering collaboration, creating public goods, and building relationships with the EOS community members too. So, and then in the chats and during these discussions, we've been having lots of interesting discussions about what people think the mission is, because we want to align around a common goal, but everybody has a different idea about what the goal is and how we should cooperate. So I've been working on curating these. A while ago, I did edencreators.com/agendas to curate people's ideas about how we can set our agendas, and that kind of led to the brainstorming sessions and what we're doing with agendas and valendas now. And now I'm working on doing kind of a similar thing with EdenCreators.com/mission, trying to curate everybody's ideas about the mission. So curate Vlad's proposal. Eric shared some great ideas about a mission and vision. I shared a proposal that built off Vlad's proposal. Gavriel shared some great ideas, both in the discussion during the Fractal meeting and also in the chat. I mentioned about fractal democracy. Marco shared great feedback. Perry shared a proposal that was really interesting too. And then also there's lots of discussions going on from Joshua and Nathan and people in the broader Eden community, Eden on EOS delegates, who are discussing these as well too. So I've been working on curating these. I won't show you too much because there's it's coming together. I've also been making some cool art with more equal animals because I think that's pretty foundational to a lot of what we're doing with the mission. And you can see it's kind of a mess right now with to-do lists and so forth. So I'm going to be working on these a lot more in the coming week or so. And I also made a really cool artwork that I'm really excited about here, which I think kind of sums it up a little bit with the more equal animals and the boat going into the light, whatever that is, going up. So I think that's pretty cool and I like that. I'm looking forward to developing that more. But yeah, I wanted to share a little bit about this. So Gavriel shared a great question before when we first started recording about talking about both Eden and what Gavriel was doing with Camazotz about how about how to coordinate communities to and inspire communities, incentivize communities to do shared actions, like build a cool collective in the jungle where people do amazing things together, or build Eden where we're empowering communities. So I feel like that's pretty related and can be a good launch or a starting point for a topic that we can discuss here. I know we've been going for a while too, so we don't have to go for too long, but I want to share a little bit about some ideas that Gavriel shared. He shared a great thread inspired by Dan Larimer's article about what is fractal democracy. That was really interesting. He shared this a couple of weeks ago. I read these all closely and I recommend you checking them out to learn more. I love the way that Gavriel is thinking about these, also talking about sea setting too. There's lots of people who are building amazing things that go along with the mission quite well of Eden Fractal and Eden that we can learn about. And you can also check out fractally.com/what-is-fractal democracy/blog actually, where you can learn about Dan Larimer's thoughts, which are super insightful as well. But yeah, I kind of wanted to show a couple of these to just get us started. Also, I wanted to show a little bit about what Gavriel is doing too. So you can check out Gavriel's website, gavrielshaw.com. And Gavriel's got a super cool intro here introducing super civilized vibes to Earth since birth. So I love that. And he's got a bunch of cool projects here. He's working with Joshua and Evolve. He's got the Camazotz Collective and Cyclic Media and Cosmic Elevator, which I'm not as familiar with, and learning to learn more about them. But you can learn about Gavriel and the stories he's doing here. Website goes quite a while. So if you want me to show any more parts of it, then I will. But I might have caught you off guard because I didn't tell you I was showing that, but I just figured it was helpful context for that. And then, yeah, you shared some very interesting ideas about Eden Fractal potential mission with fractal democracy to enable a better future. So these were in the Eden Fractal chat, which once again, I encourage everybody to join. But I wrote a bunch of notes about these and I've been meaning to respond. I haven't had the chance yet, but I figure it's a good launch off for a topic discussion and how that could potentially relate to both Eden and what Gavriel is doing with the Camazotz Collective too, co-living with nature out in the jungle. He's got a website here at Camazotz.finca or Camazotz.finca.com rather, where he's got cool videos, and I can show you around the website and show you some of the cool things. But I think maybe now is a great time. Well, if anybody has any comments, then I suppose feel free to jump in. But I'd also especially love to hear Gavriel's thoughts about both Camazotz Finca and how you think this relates to the vision and mission of Camazotz, Eden, and communities in general.
Dan, even before you did such a beautiful introduction to this Camazotz project, I just have to say the way that you're starting to curate and the amount of concentration and the time that you're putting into being able to organize and collect all of the different conversations that are happening, it really is astonishing and extremely valuable. Again, to the same point I made about Patrick's mind maps and everything that he's doing, you're helping to build such a depth of foundation that it adds a lot of confidence in the direction that Eden can come to fruition later down the track. So kudos to you. Camazotz.
Well, first I'll just say, just before you go, I'll just say thank you so much, Gavriel. I really appreciate that very much, and I'm very honored and very appreciative, and I am glad that it's being well received, and I'm looking forward to continuing improving and providing a better service for the community and so forth. Also, and I completely agree too with what I'm doing here, what Patrick's doing here, and what many other communities are doing. I think that when people come into the community and they see all these resources coming together and it looks nice and there's so much great work and we're curating it well and having discussions about it, it makes it much more inviting and much more informative and insightful community members. So, and also the work that you're doing too, of course, Gavriel, very, very much appreciated. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. I just want to complete what Gavriel stated. Maybe I will repeat the same or with another view, but with all my heart, soul, and mind, I just want to tell you, Dance Enjoy, thank you very much for all what you are doing with those Eden Town Hall, the Eden Fractal, when you are going into the EOS fireside chat on the Wednesday, always to put Eden Fractal in a good shape. Making the goods. It's very easy to do the bad, but it's not easy to do the good. So for that, thank you very much to trying to be unifying the people together. Lets us the chance to promote what we are doing. So for that, thank you. And now let's move on with Gavriel. He will to share. He want to share. Let's share.
Thank you very much, Patrick, and likewise, absolutely.
So let me start off with a little story. There's so many different directions this can go. My brain works like a mind map, which makes it very difficult to decide what to talk about first, right? So in 2020, I was working in London, my hometown, with a ICO startup that had raised $35 million. And if you can even begin to imagine having that as your treasury, like imagine if Patrick, if you had $35 million, the amount of people that you could take on to develop projects around what you're starting with the mind maps, it's mind blowing. But the guy had a challenge. And so he brought me on for two reasons. He'd spent 1.5 years with his developer team, product team, marketing team, and they had produced code, but it didn't meet anywhere near the expectations of their investor, their ICO community, right? And this was not just personal pressure for him, but he was also receiving very scary death threats. And although some of us might think we want to raise millions of dollars and do our own Web3 startup, you do not want the kind of scary pressure and stress that comes from receiving death threats from that kind of a community, that kind of a disappointed, angry community. So the games that happen, the shenanigans that happen, the money flow and the product development and the efforts that people go through, he was making an honest effort. He just couldn't pull it together in 1.5 years. So I was there to work on brand reputation, kind of moving into community management, and also product planning for what he could do moving forward with this big treasury that would appease the community and build something that would be genuinely commercially viable for the future, right? For an external customer audience, rather than just focusing ICO crypto degen investors. So I was there, and then it got into COVID pandemia, and then come 2021 January, the UK government said you're not allowed to leave the UK on an airplane because we want to flatten the curve, right? The spread of the disease. So as soon as the government said you're not allowed to leave your country, I decided I better leave my country right now. So I came to Mexico. And I realized recently that my core philosophy is that I'm anti-status quo. Anything that is middle ground, that is the way things have always been done around here, dogma and bias and just normality is what I think needs to be disrupted. And I think this matches the definition of punk. If we think of cypherpunk, these are people that are disrupting the status quo using cryptography. If we think of solar punk, it's a subset community that some of us might be familiar with. This is people disrupting the status quo by creating a sunny vision of what the future can be. So this really is where I'm at. I'm trying to explain the context of what Camazotz, the project, is all about. So I came to Mexico. I met up with Joshua Seymour, who's been living here, and I started to travel around, and I came across a concept, this word Camazotz, and it's from the Mayan culture, the indigenous Mayan culture, and it's the concept of a bat god. So you can think of a Batman who lives in the shadows. This bat god is of the underworld, and he's there for the purpose of death and rebirth, right? He's taking the status quo, he's killing the status quo, and he's allowing something new to be reborn from the ashes. And this is the kind of the concept of regeneration or regenerative, the regenerative movement. So Camazotz as a project is 45 hectares of property, of land in the middle of the Yucatán. It's essentially, it's called jungle. To me, it's more like it's like a subterranean forest. It's not like we think of the Amazon rainforest with David Attenborough with documentary programs, and you got poison frogs darting out everywhere and snakes jumping out and wrestling with giant pythons and things. It's not like that. There are some snakes, there are some scorpions, there are some dangerous spiders, but it's a lot more tranquilo, it's a lot more relaxed than we might think of the Amazon rainforest. So it's jungle, but the idea is to use the grounds to develop the slogan that I'm using is co-living with nature. And the idea of the word with, trying to be a little bit clever there, but keeping it relatable, is that we're co-living with each other, with people, because humans are the most important value on the planet, the way that I hold my philosophy. But we also have to do that in balance with the ecosystem that we have. We have to look after the planet that we want to be supported by. So we're co-living with nature. We're not just co-living amongst ourselves, but it's a co-living relationship with the natural environment. As I've traveled around the world, over 50 countries, I've never been happier than when I'm surrounded by a natural environment, green and trees and grass and this kind of stuff, rather than the concrete jungle that kind of most of us have grown up around. And I think the future paints a couple of options for people. So this is about people choosing the lifestyle that they want to have in the coming months and years and decades, as smart technologies develop, as control systems develop, as centralized powers create big mega cities that are measuring and analyzing how much trash you do and how much oxygen you breathe and how much carbon dioxide you put out because you're riding your exercise bicycle. All of these things are going to be measured and controlled in city environments. So we're going to have different lifestyle options for people. Camazotz as a co-haven is about people coming to be able to live together, developing governance in a human relationship way, so that we not only know our neighbors, right? And when I say neighbors, I mean like not just the next door neighbors either side of where you live, but your street and the few streets. The property, 45 hectares of land is the equivalent of 45 standard city blocks. So you can imagine 45 standard city blocks, that's the area of land that we have here. I intend to put the land into a trust fund, to have a governance council that is managing it, so that we're finding the balance between co-living together with like-minded individuals who we know, like, and trust, and we want to get together and have little community events and whatnot on the property, but also to have a sustainable lifestyle, a regenerative lifestyle. So we're getting rid of the status quo. We're getting rid of the way that many people are going to be pushed into these smart cities or degraded, obsolete cities, and find a new, healthier way to live, a happier way to live, a freer way to live, where we're collaborating. As Patrick, you've used this word so beautifully previously on the call, that we're learning how to collaborate with each other in the flesh, in a human co-living situation, as well as the projects that we can do around the world through concentrated meetings like we're having now over the internet. When we get together in person to person, there can be a very different dynamic. So I want to be able to have retreats, events, people staying for weeks at a time, months at a time, and even years at a time. Again, co-living with nature, living healthy, living free, creating the kind of foundations for the future society that I believe is absolutely necessary so that we are decentralizing control and creating a life that we all actually want to live, rather than being stuck in the shoebox in a city environment. So I think this is kind of the general overview. I tried to make some notes. I didn't know I was going to do this introduction, so here were my notes. I think I probably covered a fair bit of it.
Excellent.
Again, the idea is to live where you never need to go on holiday. So if you live somewhere and you feel like, wow, I love it so much, I have access to the people that I enjoy, the experiences that I enjoy, I don't need to go anywhere on holiday. That's the kind of destination that I want to create here, so that people can come here, feel that they're at home, and feel that they're living a holistic, complete life. Happy to take questions and answers. Otherwise, I just ramble on.
Well, amazing. Absolutely awesome. Thank you so much, Gavriel, for sharing that overview. I love it. I love it. I can say so much about it. I see CAC just wrote yes in there as well on the emoji as well. I saw Patrick had his hands up too. So I have a lot of thoughts. I was writing some notes as you spoke too. But I'll just say I love it right now. And thank you so much. You said very kind words to me before, and I absolutely can reciprocate that like times 1,000, because I completely agree with everything that you're saying about empowering communities locally and living with nature and living with people in the flesh, and how this is incredibly important and incredibly exciting too. It's fun to be in person and be in a new place where it's beautiful around you too. So I have a lot more to say about this too, but I also don't want to ramble on too. And feel free, Gavriel, too, if you want to share more details about it too, then of course I'm happy to stay for a long time and hear this too. I mean, we have been going for a while, so I guess we shouldn't stay for too long. I don't want to keep everybody for too long, but I'm happy to hear more. And also, if you want me to share the screen at any point too, I have some slides lined up too, so I can share some screens, or if there's any other ones you want me to share, then I'm happy to do so. But I suppose also, I know Patrick had some thoughts too, so I want to hear from Patrick, and if CAC has any thoughts about this as well too, then I'd love to hear it.
I would say I am just, let's say, that's mind-blowing to hear about the story of Gavriel. 50 countries, 15 years, traveling around the world, and now buying these 45 hectares and doing this Camazotz. Sorry for the name, I have already forget the name.
Yeah, how do you pronounce it? Camazotz?
Camazotz, yeah.
Camazotz, okay.
Camazotz Finca in Yucatán, in Mexico, absolutely in Yucatán. And what you are doing there, that shows a lot. That shows a lot the man behind the project, because you can have a fantastic project, and there are a lot of fantastic projects, but that's very important to have someone behind with very good intent and very good passion, and that is knowing exactly what he is doing, and he do that not just for himself, but he do that for everyone, and it seems to be that you want to do that, and I have no question currently. Indeed, that's the beauty. I have no question, because that's so mind-blowing, so beautiful. So I think that's so beautiful. That's normal to don't have any question at the moment. The question will come later on, because now we were just into the biology of, you have explained the biology of your project, what you are, the why, the what, then the how. There are many things to understand into this project. Solar plants, you have to put grids, you have to make fruits, trees, separate the 45 hectares into logical circles. The 45 hectares themselves are the main circle, and into this circle you have made your holacracy circles, all managed with sociocracy methodology, by the way, in each circle. So that speaks to me. But now it's different when the things are speaking to you yourself than to explain to everyone in order that it's become, let's say, understandable for the brain, because you have some people like you that are so neurotical, mind mapping brain, analytical brain, that for some other people, I would say some people just want to see what are the benefits, what are the results to be into this. And other people like us, we are OGs, CAC, Dan, myself, and others, and we want to understand the foundation. That's the iceberg, the part of the iceberg that is not visible, that is into the water. And then you have the part of the iceberg that is just visible, that the people, the newcomers will see, and they will just see the little part of the iceberg, and they will say, wow, that's the project in Yucatán, the Finca project of Gavriel Show. Oh, that's that. Or that's the project Eden Fractal. Wow, that's the project EOSBs. Wow, that's the project EOS Support, the concierge of EOS. Wow, they will see just the visible part of the iceberg. They will not see all the abstraction layers that we have encountered, all the wisdom of the fight that we have had, all this beautiful discussion that we have had. So that's why I am very happy to be into this EOS ecosystem as many others. That's what, let's say, connect us, not merge us, otherwise is the dead. But that's what connect us. We are all independent. We can create our own circles, connect them, and then we have something bigger than the original circle. Beautiful. I love this project. I was already thinking that this project is beautiful a couple of weeks ago when I was seeing the website, diving. There is a lot of information to understand. Then I saw the video, you walking into the jungle and putting with your finger. You see this tree in a couple of months or year, he will have maybe citrons. And I was like, wow, that's the project. And I have missed that, and I have not the time to dive in. So because there is so much, a lot of project into the EOS ecosystem indeed, and a lot of people that we don't, I think I will interview you. I think I will do an Antelopes Workshop, the 19th with Gavriel Show.
Sounds good.
I will invite Gavriel Show indeed to dive into his project into 30 minutes, and we will put links and all.
Sounds good, Patrick.
Wow.
Dan, if you want to bring up, and I like so relate to what Patrick's describing there. If you want to bring up the website camazotzfinca.com and just click on the co-living tab, I will show you guys literally what I just added this morning. That is so in line with what Patrick is saying, because people often don't understand until they start to see the tip of that iceberg, right? So if you scroll down to the green Q&A section, these are words, right? I'm trying to describe things and like look at co-living options, etc., etc. If you keep scrolling down just a little bit further to the, obviously, here you go, the top one. What are the housing options? What I've done is just added a bunch of image galleries of the different types of housing that goes from inexpensive, a basic glamping tent. And if you just scroll down, just see the different sections there. You got the basic glamping, then you got geodesic domes. These are incredible low-cost architecture to create housing. If you keep going down, then you've got you got yurts, which are a different type of wooden structure, still using soft wall materials, and again, relatively inexpensive housing. And if you just keep going down, you see a couple of other options. So this is incredible architect. Most of this is from a Mexican architect, and they're using basically bags of sand to use the earth from the ground. They mix it with 3% cement, and then they can build these incredible domes. And you can see inside some of these structures, it's stunningly beautiful, inexpensive, indestructible for weather conditions. And again, just another example. I'm trying to paint that picture. And this maybe relates to our conversation about governance, or how do we build communities that are interested in decentralized governance and interested in a regenerative culture. If you go down a little bit further, you get a little bit more snazzy type of options. So you got your traditional kind of log cabins, right? Modern, using metal frames, lots of wood. And if you just go down to the last, I can't remember if that was the last. Yeah. And then you got something like villas and these big metal A-frame type thing. So these are options based on how much crypto money someone has got of what they want to build as a holiday home, Camazotz co-living, but just trying to paint the picture to make it concrete and real and tangible and get the imagination going is a big part of the challenge, I think, of the types of Web3 projects that we have in general, not just this one as Camazotz, but so many, right? Over to you, Patrick.
I will map out CamazotzFinca.com. I will map out. I will do a mind map for Camazotz Finca, I think. And Gavriel, you will be able to send links to the mind map, because I have the possibility to give the people the I can give the possibility to the people to send links to the mind map, so we can enrich the mind map. And by the way, the Eden Fractal mind map, if you want to send the links to the Eden Fractal mind map, I will give you the web form where you can send the links. Like this, I update the mind map. That's not me deciding what I put into the mind map. That's you deciding what you want to send me as link.
Sounds good. So
I will send you something. Yeah, exactly.
And this is really what it's about. I've spent quite a bit of time with Joshua Seymour talking about this project, and I've got other advisors not within the EOS community. But that's the stage that I'm in basically with this, is kind of a grassroots stage. I got different advisors, different people interested, but how do we, and the same question applies to any Web3 community type project, regenerative project, Eden community itself, how do we get the ball rolling so we are showing people those tips of the iceberg that make the benefits and the rewards as obvious and accessible as possible, so people become more and more engaged, right? That's the big open-ended question for Camazotz and Eden and any other Web3 project. Just to conclude, there is a big idea for an augmented reality metaverse concept, but I'm not going to share exactly how I think that might look and work. I'm speaking to some people, but that will adding a layer of, we have the physical land property, and then how we can build Web3 and metaverse experiences on top of that. So coming soon.
Awesome. Well, I'm very much looking forward to that. That sounds very exciting with metaverse integrations and so forth. And yeah, thanks so much. I'm also very excited for the interview that you'll do with Patrick and the mind map too. So thanks so much for that, Patrick. And yeah, Gavriel, I've took this up before, but actually hearing you speak about it now, it brings it to another level. And I think you're doing an awesome job of curating it. I completely appreciate what you're saying about, the need to be able to communicate it well for people who don't know well, and to learn about it and so forth. And just exploring the website, you have a bunch of videos here too. I have one where I think you're just walking around and showing the sights and sounds of Camazotz right here. And yeah, the website's really organized really well. We could spend a long time just going into these, and perhaps since we've been going for a while now, we can do another town hall where we get into these in more details, or we can share updates as we go along. I know you've also been doing podcasts with with Joshua and Douglas I listened to as well. So those are really cool to learn about it as well. I'm happy to share any other parts of this as well, because there's so many cool things on the website, and I really want to show people a bit about this. You have definitions. The website is very well designed too, so great work here. And then yeah, you can check out all these top tabs. We just explored just the homepage and the co-living section too, but there's also all these different experiences here too, with Mayan immersion and ecotourism and co-living and accommodation and cool stuff like that. Feel free to let me know if there's anything that I should stop on, or if you want to comment on here at any point, Gavriel.
Let me just jump. This is pretty funny, right? If you just scroll down, just also this morning, I've used ChatGPT to write this top 5 Mayan experiences section.
Wow.
it's so impressive how you can just give it a question and it can start writing blog content for your website. It's really, really astonishing.
That's true, and kind of brings back to I mean, first off, awesome. That's really cool, and it looks like it's very well written. I've seen amazing stories with ChatGPT, so I'm glad that you're using it, and I imagine that can speed up the website development quite a lot too. Yeah. And then I think that also brings it back to what you're saying too about like the importance of doing this as well. Like you were talking about concerns about centralization. There's a lot of forces of centralization right now in the world. Dan Larimer said how internet is in many ways a centralizing technology, and there's potential for dystopic futures with all this, especially with the power of AI too. AI can be an incredibly helpful tool or a bad tool for humanity. And so using AI as the tool right now to promote like these kind of independent living and bringing people together in real life and in nature and independence, like that's profoundly helpful, and also speaks to what you're saying about more equal, or you weren't speaking of more equal animals, but you mentioned the tyranny of the status quo, which is a chapter in More Equal Animals too. So I just I wanted to highlight a bit about that too, that both this is really cool and awesome and exciting, and also really important too, that you're doing. And I've heard many other people doing somewhat similar things as well too. And I know Josh is working with you on this. I know Douglas was working on with you on this for a while too. So I'm really excited to see you working on this. And I'd love to come visit sometime. I'd love to come spend some time down in the Yucatán with you. And I love that you have cool art here and so many cool things. So yeah, once again, just sounds amazing. So many more things to say about it, but it sounds awesome.
Yeah, I look forward to being able to share updates as we go into the future. And very thanks for the opportunity, and looking forward to sharing more.
Yeah,
cool.
I just want to ask you, Dancy-Joy, you can just click the link that I have shared into the chat, and Gavriel, you can take this link also into your notepad for you.
Okay.
Sounds great.
I let Dancy-Joy click on it, share the screen, click on it.
It sounds great. Just 1 second, Patrick. I have a copy of it and I'll share it in a moment. But I just also, one thing I want to especially highlight too, before I forget, is the YouTube channel that Gavriel is sharing this on. So if you check out the Camazotz Collective here, then you can watch out which I think this is where Gavriel is right now, if I'm looking correctly at his screen, but you can see the spaces in. This is one of the structures that's already there, and you can see all the behind the scenes work. So he's like talking about how they're building it and water sources and stuff like that. So just to highlight Gavriel's point about like curating this and showing people how it is, I think that this in particular, the website's amazing, but having the videos too brings another like sense of life to it, and you can understand so much more. I've watched a few of these videos already, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. So really cool, and it's active too. You just published these couple videos showing the progress in the past couple of days, getting quite a few views on this one too. So that's really cool to see all the progress you're sharing, and thank you for sharing that, Gavriel. And recommend everybody to check that out.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we can return to more Camazotz discussions if we'd like in a moment. But for now, I'm bringing up Patrick's mind map for ETH Fractal proposals.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. We will not speak about proposal of Eden Fractal. We will speak how to map out other members into this mind map. That's the goal of the mind mapping. So there will be a branch into this mind map. I made Camazotz Finca on the left of the mind map, because that has nothing to do with the proposal, but that will be on the left. And now, in order that Gavriel can send the links to the new mind map that I will create, that will be linked from this mind map. So that's become a fractal mind map, by the way. This mind map will point to the Camazotz Finca mind map. Gavriel has just to click on submit links to this mind map, the second branch on the left. If you can click on, okay, data submission for Mindweb mind map. I have built that since a while. That's not new. The people can send the links to the mind map, but you know, the people sometimes they don't have the time to send the links to the mind map. You know how it is. That's why we have made that the consortium send the proposal directly to the mind map. So Gavriel has just to click or submit links to this mind map. He sends the links that he wants to send, the website, maybe some beautiful house, model of house, and we do a mind map dedicated specifically for Camazotz Finca around this subject, not speaking about other subject, just the subject. And the center of the mind map Camazotz, when you click into the center, that will go on a nice video that has made to promote Gavriel. So I will work with Gavriel on that. But before that I work with Gavriel on that, Gavriel can already send links to his future mind map. And that will be a nice collaboration, like I do also with Lenny for the recap. I am building a mind map for the recap, and I am building with the people. So that's the goal. We create mind maps together, and then we link them from a main one, the main circle, and you have like a fractal mind map. The dancing joy, if you want to click on the first branch on the left, the first branch.
The memory?
Eden Fractal memory. It is in green. It's to go into the Eden Fractal mind map. That is the Eden Fractal. That's another mind map, by the way. So the mind map, you can dive between them. And the mind map is always speaking about a subject, never of two subjects. Always the heuristic into the center. That's a heuristic schema. You have the heuristic into the center, and you have the dimension around. But technical, but to say a mind map has always to be on a subject-oriented. It's like a data mart into the data analytic world. And the data warehouse is the big data warehouse, and into the data warehouse, you have subject-oriented data mart. So a mind map is a data mart. But I will work on that with Gavriel. I feel me inspired, and we will have a video on that, and that will be a great experience to share. I will do the same with other Eden Fractal members. We have not only to share the story of the OGs into the EOS ecosystem, like Daniel Keys, like Jesse Jaffe of EOSBs, but I have also to interview other people. And that's begin today. I will interview other people of the Eden Fractal, let's say, of the EOS ecosystem, indeed, like Gavriel and Joshua for the delegate, for the chief delegate. But Joshua, 20-year friend of Gavriel. So I think you are very aligned on a lot of subjects. And I was hearing a lot, Joshua, speaking about this project of you. And I was never realizing exactly what it is. So this kind of video, like here, for example, mapped into the mind map. And then you can share with your friends the HTML page, because the mind map is an HTML page, by the way. You can send this HTML page to everyone, and then from the mind map, you go where the information is. You are like guided, and you can search into the mind map. It's not just a mind map with links mapped out. You can also search. You search for casa or house, and you find the information, if we map out all those information for sure. And ChatGPT can help us a little bit into this during that I sleep. That will be great. Okay, so what you think, Gavriel? Sounds good, or it's a
sounds
shitty?
Great. No, it sounds
okay.
great. I love mind mapping. I think that's an important project, and it'll help me organize my thoughts just as much as it helps to, you know, promote what I'm doing specifically. And just let me say, just to paint this little picture, Camazotz has 2 active projects.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is the physical co-living safe haven in the Yucatan. And the other side of it is more of a general digital global community. So this is the Camazotz collective is wider than just the Camazotz co-haven in the Yucatan, right? The Camazotz collective is not supposed, is really generic in a sense. There we're looking, how do we network with the big picture to bring new people into Eden, for example, to understand the election process, to use Eden Fractal distribution of respect and reward and contribution. So we're educating and bringing in a wider audience of people. They might not have any interest or nothing to do with the Camazotz co-haven itself, but they want to be, we're building a connecting different global communities together. So there's kind of those two aspects of it.
That's very helpful. Let's say totally global, specific at the same time, generic but specific. And with Eden Fractal, there is also some possibilities. And with Eden Onios, yeah, we see we see the collaborative circles beginning. Now I think the people will understand more what does it mean to be collaborative and do interoperability between circles, between humans, not only between smart contracts, but also between humans. And with Sibyl mechanism, like Jesse Jaffe, shout out to him, is doing a great job with this Sibyl mechanism that we need in place before that we can connect networks together to interoperate. That will be a very, let's say, a little bit stupid to let the human collaborate between networks if we have not in place some mechanism, protection mechanism, like the Sibyl attacks check, very important. So Jesse is very involved with learn to earn, network to earn, networking to earn, and he wants really to connect the networks. But before that, he works on the Sibyl. So we are all aligned indeed. We are all aligned. We will connect, and happy to have this Eden Town Hall today with Gavriel and CIC and Dancing Joy. That was a very beautiful one, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. It's been a beautiful meeting so far. I have a couple notes here that I can share. I suppose we probably should wrap it up pretty soon because we have been going over for 3 hours now, so don't want to go for too long. I'd be curious if CAC has any thoughts here. I haven't heard from CAC in a while, and I'm sure that CAC's been enjoying this, and I see he's unmuted now. CAC,
well, there was several times I tried to speak, but kept getting interrupted. No, I'm just mostly listening. I'm mostly just listening. If I got something to say, I'll speak up.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Well, your thoughts are appreciated, CAC, and sorry if I got cut off. I didn't notice that, but work together to prevent getting cut off in the future so we can cooperate better. And then also if there's ever anything that I can do to help, feel free to message me or anything like that, and I can try to arrange a time for you to speak if it's difficult. Sometimes we have lots of excitement ideas, so it's difficult. What's that?
Nothing.
Okay.
It's just a critique of you, but talk about it later.
Okay. Yeah, I suppose we could save the critiques of me for later. There's probably a lot we can get into. So anyway, I wanted to, I see Patrick has his hat on, so I think he's getting ready to go, but I wanted to say a couple of things first before we start to wrap it up. First off, I wanted to recommend everybody to check out all the stuff that we talked about today. A lot of amazing things going on. That'll all be in the show notes in the description. The last thing that we talked about really exciting with Camazotz, that's CamazottzFinca.com, where you can learn more and explore all that. I also recommend checking out Camazotz HQ on Twitter too, particularly the podcast Who Will Care About the Camazotz Cooperative that you did with Joshua, Gavriel. It's really insightful, and it talks about a lot of these things that we're talking about here in more detail. So I recommend everybody check that out. There's also meetups where people can check out there too. And I'm looking forward to seeing the mind map and the discussions too. It's great to see these collaborations happening in real time. We could go on and on about this, but I suppose I will leave my thoughts there. I'm curious if Gavriel, you have any thoughts you want to share here too. And once again, I'm very excited to discuss this more in much more detail in the future. But I'm curious for now if you have anything else you'd like to share here.
Yeah, keeping it relevant to the audience comes down to keep building. There's no easy wins. I think Patrick actually described it so well, is that people don't see all of the what's below the surface of the tip of the iceberg, all of the time and effort and energy and failures and challenges and learning curve that we have to go through. So anyone who is, you know, working on Web3 projects within our wider community chiming in here is just keep building, and together we make the progress that we need to see, and we will get there, and we will have a big impact on the future of humanity. And this is why I show up every day. So just keep building.
Keep building. Very well said, Gavriel. Thank you. And I agree. That's why I show up too. And I'm really excited about how these processes that we're doing here together and the content that we're making can help educate people and then help inspire and empower our communities, both here with Eden, the Camazotz Collective, and the on-site community and Haven. So really awesome stuff. And thanks again so much, Gavriel, for joining us today. I'm really glad that you joined and we got to discuss all these cool things.
Yeah, thank you, Gavriel. Thank you, CIC. Thank you, my fellow Dancing Joy. Dancing Joy, what do you think? We can close this Eden Town Hall and make some gifts before to go here. Do you want to put your hat, maybe?
I think so. Well, I'd be curious what kind of gifts you mean, but I can get my hat here. I have a couple different hat selections, so I'll decide. Being that we're talking about Mexico, I mean, this is kind of a Mexican hat.
Voila.
I guess. This is like some sort of cowboy hat or something like that. So if I was able to throw this to you right now, Gavriel, then I would.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That's look cowboy style. I love it. I have also a hat of Mexico that I bought to Playa del Carmen, but it looks like this one I have now, but with color like yours, Dancing Joy. But I think you are ready.
Sounds
for
good.
the. We are ready for the wrap it up by.
Yeah, just by the way, I'd recommend if you get a hat, then make sure you get a big enough one to fit around the headphones because it's a little bit difficult. But anyway, I'll balance it.
You're wearing it backwards.
Am I?
No, you look perfect. You look like a Dallas guy. Okay, so we will do a Go Eden on EOS, or let's do this. First, a Go Eden.
Well, how about we keep it quick? And we go, Go Eden Town Hall, and also Go Camazotz at the same time. Go Eden Town Hall, Go Camazotz.
Go Camazotz Finca.
Yes.
Finca.
Oh, we got and we got the bat too. We got the Camazotz bat too. Beautiful.
Bueno, para las personas que son en México, yo le dice una feliz año y todo lo mejor. Y vamos a hacer aquí saludos a todos los mexicanos y para el proyecto de Gavriel Show que se llama Camazotz Fincas. A beautiful project in Yucatán, in Mexico.
Qué bien, muy buen español, Patrick.
Sí, es un español colombiano despacio, pero al menos yo hablo un poquito. We said here that we made some shout out to Mexico and the people there in Spanish community, and stating that Camazotz Fincas is a beautiful project, and shout out to Gavriel Show. So now let's continue into English, and we will say Go Eden Town Hall. Very easy indeed.
Go Eden Town Hall, Go Camazotz all at once.
Go Camazotz Fincas. Yeah, but first Go Eden Town Hall. Okay, and for that you have to raise your hand.
All right, I'm ready to do it. Let's go. In 3.
And Partner Joy, are you ready?
What's Partner Joy? As I hear, Dancing Joy's ready, and I think Gavriel's too. I imagine CAC is as well.
And Gavriel too, and CAC too. Okay.
3.
CAC, don't cry, huh? Not before the end, huh? Okay. So
3,
2, 1,
0.
Go
Eden Town
Town
Hall.
Hall.
And then
the second one.
yes,
The
okay.
second one. Raise your hand.
Yes. And 3, 2, 1, go Camazotz, and then we wrap it up there.
Go Camazotz Fincas.
Okay, sounds
Olé.
good.
Okay,
Olé.
3,
2, 1,
0.
Go,
Go
Camazotz.
Camazotz Finca. Olé! Woohoo! All right. All right. Thanks everybody so much. Thank you so much, Gavriel and CAC and Patrick. This has been awesome and super insightful and fun meeting. See you next week. Thanks everybody so much.
Take care.